Discover the heartwarming truth a homeless woman revealed to a billionaire, an inspiring life-changing connection. Lily shivered under her tattered blanket, the chill of downtown Detroit wrapping around her like a ghostly embrace. Once a passionate small business owner, she now fought daily for survival, a heartbroken mother far removed from the life she had cherished. Memory played cruel tricks on her, filling her dreams with the laughter of her late husband, each echo an agonizing reminder of her estrangement from their only daughter. The streets were unforgiving, her body worn down and soul bruised, but every sunrise brought a flicker of hope. She longed for the day her daughter would walk through the shelter doors, ready to reconnect. Just miles away, Jack sat in his corner office, surrounded by the glitz of corporate success. At 38, he had it all: money, power, influence, but the walls of his wealth closed in on him, suffocating him with loneliness. He attended meetings and galas, where laughter echoed hollowly against the polished surfaces. On a whim, seeking redemption, he strode into a local shelter one frosty evening, the smell of warm soup and a bedlam of voices wrapping around him like a foreign blanket. It was here that their paths collided. Jack watched as Lily shared soup with a group of hopefuls, her fierce spirit captivating him. Her laughter lit up the dim shelter, and as they sat together, exchanging stories over steaming bowls, he got lost in her world. Each word she spoke, filled with stories of resilience and love for a daughter she had lost contact with, wrapped around his heart. The contrasts were striking, his polished life against her reality of hardship. She spoke of dreams and regrets, and Jack felt an inexplicable connection wove through the air as if fate had stitched their lives together. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But their fragile connection was tested as news of the proposed housing policy spread like wildfire through the community. The shelter, a sanctuary for Lily and countless others, was on the brink of being shut down. Panic gripped the room as whispers of despair weaved among the patrons. Jack's heart raced. He found himself thrust into a world where privilege and need collided on an unyielding battlefield. As the battle lines were drawn, Jack stood at a crossroads, the stark realization dawning upon him that real change awaited undeniable action. While he had the power and resources to make a difference, would he truly understand the voices of the people he wanted to help? Lily gripped her emotions tightly, fear and hurt lurking beneath her hopeful surface. Could she dare to dream of reaching out to her daughter amidst all this uncertainty? In that crucial moment, the air crackled with tension. Jack rose to his feet, prepared to plead for the lifeline that had become so pivotal in the lives of so many. Hope danced in Lily's weary heart as he began to speak, but the unresolved conflict loomed as an inevitable question. Could Jack's influence turn the tide, and would Lily find the courage to reach for her daughter in time? The city, divided by wealth, held its breath as their journey of understanding began. Jack cleared his throat, the crowded shelter falling silent as all eyes turned toward him. His heart pounded like a drum, each beat echoing the weight of what was at stake. He looked around, noticing the faces worn by hardship but glowing with an unyielding spirit. I believe that every person deserves a place to call home, he began, his voice steady but filled with the urgency of the moment. Lily watched him closely, her breath hitching in her throat. Would he truly understand the depth of their struggle? Her mind raced back to the weathered blankets, the expired coupons she collected for meals, and the silent tears shed in the dark. Hope flickered within her like a candle in the wind, but the fear of disappointment loomed just as strong. Jack continued. This shelter isn't just a building. It's a lifeline, a sanctuary. If we lose this, we lose more than just a roof. We lose a community. His words resonated with raw emotion, and he could feel something shifting, a sense of unity gathering among the patrons. As he spoke, Jack made an unspoken vow. He would fight for them. He would do everything in his power to ensure the shelter remained open. A murmur of agreement rippled through the room, igniting a flicker of hope in Lily's chest. She saw the way the other residents leaned forward, their eyes alive with possibility. Around her, hearts were stirring. Could they really rally together to make a change? As Jack wrapped up his plea, a few of the more outspoken patrons began to share their stories. One man spoke of hardships he faced after losing his job. A woman recalled the day she had to part with her children, hoping they would find a better life. Each voice added another layer to the growing tapestry of their community, showcasing resilience and strength. Lily felt a lump in her throat, watching as Jack nodded along, genuinely absorbing their stories. It was rare to see someone like him, someone so removed from their struggles, engage so authentically. She felt her guarded heart soften a little, allowing a sliver of trust to seep in. Could he really be their champion? But just as things seemed to be shifting towards hope, the door swung open, and a figure stepped inside the shelter. Lily's heart sank. It was Rick, her estranged husband, and a wave of mixed emotions crashed over her. Anger, disappointment, and a flicker of hope battled within her. What was he doing here after all these years? Jack turned at the sound of the door, catching a glimpse of the newcomer. He saw the storm in Lily's eyes, the way she instantly shrank away from the man. The dynamics shifted again as tension thickened the air. Jack sensed that there was history, a darker layer to the fragile connection he'd been starting to forge with Lily. Rick's voice was rough. "I've been looking for you." Jack's gaze shifted between the two. Uncertainty gripped him, uncertainty that could change everything. Would Lily confront her past now, and if so, what impact would it have on the fight for the shelter? As Rick took a step closer, the unsaid words hung in the air, pressing against somewhere deep in Jack's chest. He felt the weight of the moment, knowing that how Lily responded could alter not just their connection, but the futures of so many. Can she face what she has avoided for so long? What will happen to the fight for the shelter now? Lily's breath caught in her throat. She glanced at Jack, whose expression flickered between concern and determination. She could feel the weight of shared eyes on her, the entire shelter brimming with a mix of hope and trepidation. What would she say? How would she stand against the familiar shadows of her past? "Rick," she finally managed, her voice steady despite the maelstrom unfolding inside her. "Why are you here?" Rick looked pained, his hands shoved deep into the pockets of his jacket. "I came to find you to talk." I messed up, Lily. I know that. But I want to make it right." The room grew even quieter, the tension palpable. Jack's eyes narrowed, assessing the situation like a hawk sizing up its territory. Lily sensed a protective energy emanating from him, ready to shield her from whatever Rick was about to unleash. "So you just show up after all this time?" She snapped, her heart pounding. "Do you think it's that simple?" Rick shook his head, desperation lacing his features. "No, I don't. But I've changed. I've been getting help working on myself. I just want a chance to explain." Jack stepped forward slightly, his presence commanding yet gentle. "She doesn't have to listen to you, Rick. Especially not here." Lily felt a flutter of gratitude towards Jack. His support steadied her. Still, she had to confront Rick even if it was the last thing she wanted. "You left me to fend for myself," she said, her voice trembling. "You chose your own life over ours." "I know," he replied, anguish etched into his voice. "I was lost, and I hurt you. I'm sorry for that. But I'm not the same man anymore. I'm trying, please, let me show you." Lily's heart waged war within her. Rick's words tugged at something deep in her, a flicker of what once was. Yet, the reality of their shattered past loomed larger. People around them whispered amongst themselves, eyes darting between the three, engulfed in the unfolding drama. "Why should I trust you?" She pushed back, emotions swirling. "You've broken that trust more times than I can count." "Because I understand what it means to have lost everything," he pleaded, his voice cracking. "I see now what matters: family, community, a safe space. Just like this shelter." Jack's expression hardened. "This isn't about you, Rick. It's about the people in this room. They're fighting to keep what little they have together." The weight of Jack's words hung thick in the air, colors of empathy painted across the shelter's walls. For a moment, everyone held their breath, waiting for Lily to decide. Old anger wrestled with the glimmers of hope Rick's presence stirred within her. Would she let history repeat itself, or could she reach for something better? What do you want me to do, Rick? Lily finally asked, feeling cracks forming in her well-guarded heart. Tell me. Rick stepped closer, the vulnerability in his eyes matched only by the resilience of those around them. I want to earn your trust back. I want to help. Let me stand beside you in this fight. As he spoke, Jack's protective stance remained unmoved, but something shifted between Lily and Rick. A flicker of understanding passed through her, though doubt still settled heavily in her stomach. Join me, she said softly, finally giving in to the eternal dance of hope and fear, but you need to prove it, not just with words. Across the room, eyes were still fixed on them, breaths held for what came next. In that moment, a decision was silently made not just for her future but also for everyone who depended on the shelter. Was it possible to stitch together the tattered remnants of her past with a hopeful thread for the future? And would the fight for their shelter be stronger than the shadows that loomed together with her estranged husband? With every passing second, change loomed just ahead, ready to test their resolve. What would she choose to confront next? Lily felt the world tilt slightly as she stood there, caught in the crossfire of her past and present. The warmth of Jack's unwavering support surged through her, contrasting sharply with the icy grip of Rick's presence. So, what's the plan, Rick? She pressed, her voice gathering strength. How do you plan to prove to me that you've really changed? Words aren't enough anymore. Rick's eyes softened. I want to start by helping with the shelter. I heard about the fundraiser you're organizing. I can use my connections to bring in some resources. It might be a small step, but it's a start. Lily tilted her head, skepticism evident on her face. What kind of resources? Because if you're just talking donations, I've heard that song before. He cleared his throat, determination creeping back into his voice. I can reach out to some friends in the community who owe me favors. I'll even put some of my own money in. Anything you need, I'll do it. I want you to believe that I'm here to stay, to help. Lily watched him, an internal storm raging. She could feel the eyes of the crowd watching her, gauging her every move. The whispers caught fragments of her indecision, like leaves fluttering in the wind. Rick, she began, the weight of their history clawing at her throat. You say you want to help, but you have to understand that trust isn't easily rebuilt. You walked away once. That created a crack I can't simply forget about. It's deeper than you understand. I understand more than you think, he insisted, stepping a little closer. Every day without you felt like losing a piece of myself. I want to make it right, not just for us, but for everyone who relies on this shelter. I know I can't change the past, but please, let me help shape the future. The sincerity in his eyes began to draw Lily in, flickers of hope igniting the dampened embers of their past. Yet, every inch of her felt hesitant, weighed down by memories of betrayal. Jack stepped forward, crisp and commanding. Lily, remember the bigger picture here. It's about the shelter and the people inside it. They need stability, not chaos. If Rick is genuine, we can use his help. But trust is built through action, not promises. Lily turned to Jack, his unwavering faith bolstering her own. She could see him absorbing the emotional turmoil she was navigating, his concern for her battling against the need for shared resources. Everything felt like it was hanging in the balance. Fine. The words slipped from her lips, an anchor thrown into uncertain waters. You can help, Rick. But understand this is your last chance. If you falter, I won't hesitate to cut you out. I won't let you hurt me or anyone in this shelter again. The room reacted with a wave of astonished murmurs, relief mingled with wariness. Rick nodded, his eyes shining with what Lily hoped was genuine remorse. Thank you, he breathed, a weight lifting from his shoulders. Jack placed a hand on her back, a silent agreement that they would move forward together. But uncertainty still gnawed at Lily. Would this tentative collaboration truly make a difference, or was she inviting a storm into her fragile sanctuary? As they began to discuss the logistics of the fundraiser, a sense of purpose filled the room. Numbers flew, ideas bounced around, and for a moment, the shadows receded. Yet Lily's heart remained a battleground, divided between hope and fear. Later that evening, after the crowd had dissipated and silence settled over the shelter, Lily found herself haunted by Rick's words. She couldn't shake an unsettling feeling that perhaps this was only the calm before an inevitable storm. Would she regret her choice to welcome him back into their lives? Or could this truly be the fresh start they all desperately needed? The shadows loomed once more, and her resolve felt as fragile as glass. As Lily closed her eyes that night, she knew they were on the brink of something monumental. But whether it would lead to healing or heartbreak remained an open question. What would tomorrow bring? The sun rose over the shelter, washing the worn brick building in a golden hue. Lily opened her eyes, dreading the decision that awaited her. She knew that the morning would bring clarity, but part of her wished she could sink back into the comfort of sleep and avoid confronting the tangled emotions that Rick had stirred up. As she moved through the familiar routines of the shelter, the smells of coffee and breakfast filled the air. The sound of chatter among the residents soothed her nerves, a calm reminder of the purpose that bound them all together. Yet, in the quieter corners of her heart, doubt echoed like a faraway thunder. Jack arrived shortly after sunrise, his usual bright smile dimmed slightly, just enough for Lily to notice. "How are you holding up?" he asked, leaning casually against the doorframe, a cup of coffee in hand. "Just thinking," she replied, pouring herself a mug. "About Rick. What if this all blows up in our faces? Can we really trust him to do good?" Jack sipped his coffee, deep in thought. "We can't control the past, but we can choose how to respond to the present. If he's serious, it could help a lot of people. But it's okay to be scared. Change is hard, especially when it comes from someone who hurt you." His words struck her deeply. She wanted to believe that Rick had changed, but the weight of their shared past sat heavy in her heart. Could she really open that door again? Later that morning, Rick arrived early, a determined look on his face. He carried a binder filled with potential donors' lists and ideas for the fundraiser. "I know I'm pushing myself into a tight space with you all," he said, glancing nervously from Jack to Lily. "But I've talked to some people already. They're ready to back this shelter if they know you're involved, Lily." Lily's heart quickened. It felt strange to be on the receiving end of such enthusiasm, especially from someone who once walked away from her life so easily. "You really think they'll come through?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Rick nodded, a spark of his former confidence igniting. "Yes. I've lined up a baker who specializes in fundraisers, and several businesses willing to donate meals. This could be the start of something great. Just give me a chance to show you." Lily watched him, the sincerity in his eyes battling against the ghosts of their past. Jack stood beside her, arms crossed, observing the interaction closely. "What if it doesn't work out?" she pressed. "What happens then?" Rick took a deep breath, his face serious. "Then I'll own that failure. But I need you to let me try. For the shelter, for everyone who walks through those doors looking for hope. Just tell me you're willing to give it a shot." The challenges ahead felt daunting, but as she looked at Rick, she sensed a fragile thread of possibility weaving through the air. A moment passed, heavy with unspoken words, and the tension bubbled beneath the surface. "Okay," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But this is it. I'm not going to throw myself back into the deep end to only get hurt again." Rick's expression brightened. "I promise, I won't let you down." Jack stepped forward, breaking the fragile moment. "If we're doing this, we all need to be on the same page. Rick, can you assure Lily that your involvement is not just about making amends but about real change? I understand what's at stake here. I want to better myself, to ensure this shelter becomes a haven, not just for today but for the future." As conversations about the fundraiser continued, Lily felt something shift within her. It was still riddled with skepticism, yet a new kind of warmth began to rise. In the days to come, as they rushed to prepare for the event, Lily would come to realize that their collaboration would test her in unexpected ways. She knew that every relative success or failure would spark a series of emotions, building up to a moment that could change how they all saw themselves and the choices they had made. Her heart raced with anticipation. What would she uncover about herself, about Rick, and what truths would this shelter serve up? All she could think of was the upcoming fundraiser as the last chance for them to get things right. Would this truly be the step toward redemption? And if so, at what cost? The days melted into one another as Lily dove headfirst into the preparations for the fundraiser. Every corner of the shelter buzzed with life. Volunteers folded flyers, donated goods piled high in the corner, and the scent of freshly baked goods filled the air, courtesy of the baker Rick had brought on board. Yet as the energy surged around her, Lily still felt tethered to that silent doubt within her heart. She pinched herself, trying to ignore the voice that insisted it was too good to be true. Was it really happening? Was Rick really going to redeem himself? One evening, as they worked late into the night, Lily found herself alone with Rick in the dining area. He was organizing stacks of donation sheets while the glow from the overhead lights cast soft shadows across his face. She had to admit it looked good on him. The confident man before her was a far cry from the one she had once known, a struggle evident in every line of his face. "Thanks for staying late," he said, looking up from his work. "I know it's a lot, but I can feel something good coming from this." Lily nodded, pushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I hope so. But I can't help worrying. This isn't just about the money, it's about the people. What if it all falls apart?" Rick placed the last sheet aside and leaned forward, his eyes full of earnestness. "I know you're scared, but think of all the lives we could change, people like us." "I haven't forgotten what it's like," he admitted, his voice low and steady. "Every time we open those doors, someone steps through seeking a little hope, and together, we can give that back." She felt a knot form in her throat. His honesty tugged at her heartstrings. The flashes of the past lingered, yet they didn't overshadow the possibility of a new beginning. But could she trust him? Suddenly, the back door swung open, and Jack peeked his head in. "Hey, hope I'm not interrupting." He walked in, a box of supplies in hand. The late hour had not dimmed his spirit. "I brought more flyers. We need everyone in the community to know about this event." Lily watched the camaraderie unfold. Here was Rick, the man who had caused her so much hurt, working side by side with Jack, who had always been her steadfast anchor. They shared jokes and laughter, their energy lifting the heaviness of doubt lingering in her heart. As the laughter resounded through the room, Lily felt something crack in her resolve. Maybe this could work. But what stirred the most was an unexpected warmth growing between them, one that filled her with a mix of trepidation and hope. After Jack left, the silence returned, comfortable yet charged. Rick glanced over at Lily, studying her. "I know I can't erase the past. I can only hope to build something better in the future. Just know I'll fight for this, for both of us." His words hung in the air, and for the first time, Lily sensed a flicker of faith igniting within her. Could this be the beginning of a bridge mending the gap they once shared? As the event loomed closer, she kept replaying his words in her head, feeling the weight of her decision settling deeper. The uncertainty coiled tightly in her chest. It was a pulse for change, a heartbeat for something greater, but danger lurked in allowing herself to hope again, and then an unexpected phone call changed everything. "Lily, it's about the fundraiser. We need to talk." What could be so urgent? What news awaited her that could tip the balance? Lily's heart raced as she stared at her phone, the screen lit up with a number she didn't recognize. The voice on the other end was smooth, filled with urgency. "Lily, it's Sarah from the local news station. We've heard about your fundraiser, and we want to do a feature on it. Can we meet?" The invitation hung in the air, thick with opportunity yet laced with a tinge of fear. When?" she stammered, glancing at Rick, who had caught her eye and raised an eyebrow in curiosity. "Tonight, if possible. We want to capture the energy leading up to the event. It could bring more attention to your cause and help raise funds," Sarah continued, her enthusiasm spilling through the phone. Lily took a deep breath. This was what they needed, but could she handle being in the spotlight? "Okay. Let us do it," she agreed, surprising herself with the resolve in her voice. Rick's face lit up with a mix of pride and excitement as she hung up. That's great, Lily. This could really make a difference. But beneath his cheer, Lily felt the weight of the moment. What if the attention brought scrutiny? What if people discovered the fractured history between her and Rick? The doubts clawed at her as she tried to prepare for the following hours. As the evening unfolded, the shelter buzzed with new energy. More volunteers arrived to help, eager to impress the media. They decorated the space with colorful banners, balloons, and table arrangements, each piece playing a part in the grand transformation of the familiar space. Lily moved about, offering gentle guidance, almost on autopilot. Then, the door swung open, and Sarah stepped inside with a camera crew behind her. Lily felt a surge of panic rise up as she stood frozen, watching Sarah confidently greet the team with poised enthusiasm. Lily. So good to see you. Sarah exclaimed, her tone lifting Lily's spirits momentarily. Let us start with an interview. I want to get your perspective on why this fundraiser is so important. Lily nodded, swallowing back nerves. They moved to a corner, the camera rolling, capturing each word. As she spoke, she found her voice carrying weight she hadn't expected. The stories of the people who relied on the shelter tumbled out of her heart, passion igniting her words. She felt alive. Just as they wrapped up, Rick stepped over, an uncertain look crossing his face. Is it okay if I say something? Lily hesitated, the remnants of their past swirling in her mind, but then she nodded. Rick moved in front of the camera, his presence magnetizing. People say that every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Ours isn't finished yet, he said, his voice steady. We're here to help others write a new chapter of hope. He took a deep breath, his gaze steady on Lily. And without Lily, none of this would be possible. A wave of warmth flooded through her. This was unexpected, but the sincerity in his eyes stirred something deep inside her. Maybe he believed in her more than she believed in herself. As the crew began to pack up, Lily and Rick exchanged glances, a newfound understanding weaving between them. But then the phone buzzed again, this time with a text from Jack. Heard about the news feature. Let us chat. I have concerns. Concern? The word echoed in her mind, tainted with unease. Just when everything felt like it was moving forward, a storm brewed on the horizon. What concerns did Jack have? Could he sense the surge of emotions that were surfacing, ones she had barely admitted to herself? And what would that mean for her and for Rick? Lily stared at her phone, Jack's text burning in her mind. She felt a knot tightening in her stomach. What did he mean by concerns? Was it about the fundraiser? Or was it about the shifting dynamics between her and Rick? Hey, you okay? Rick's voice broke through her thoughts. He had watched her closely, a hint of worry in his eyes. Yeah, she stopped herself, wanting to keep the excitement alive. Just caught up in the moment, I guess. Rick nodded, but she could see he wasn't convinced. He stepped closer, his warm presence grounding her. You did amazing back there, Lily. Seriously. The way you spoke, it's going to resonate with people. His praise wrapped around her like a soft blanket, but before she could truly bask in it, her phone buzzed again. This time, the message was from Sarah. Great job tonight. We're excited to air the segment. Just remember, stay focused on the mission. It's going to bring so much good your way. Lily sighed, uncertain if the good would outweigh the complications. Rick's eyes softened as he leaned against the wall next to her. So, what now? You want to respond to her? Yeah, I will. I just need a minute, she replied, tapping on her phone, her thoughts racing. As she typed, she couldn't shake the feeling that everything hinged on what Jack wanted to discuss. The past few months had been tumultuous, but they'd also been liberating. She had to confront the truth about herself, and maybe, if she attended to the situation with Jack, she could manage to bring some clarity into their lives too. Lily, Rick said softly, drawing her attention from the screen. About earlier what I said. I meant it. You're incredible. I don't want you to doubt what we can do together. She searched his gaze. Was he serious? A warmth spread in her chest, but the remnants of their past echoed between them. Rick, it's complicated. Complicated can be good, he replied, a hint of smile flickering on his lips. Before she could respond, another volunteer joined them, dragging her back to reality with chatter about the event. They discussed logistics and final preparations, but Lily's heart beat anxiously as she kept glancing at her phone. Her own emotions felt like a tangled web, each thread connected to Jack, Rick, and the important event ahead. Minutes later, it was time to wrap up the evening at the shelter. Volunteers began to head out, exhausted but hopeful. Lily lingered, their laughter still echoing in the hall. She wished she could bottle this moment, the energy, the hope, the camaraderie. But the sweet serenity of the evening was disrupted as she received a notification from Jack. There's a lot at stake, Lily. Let us meet tomorrow, it read. She felt the air shift in the room. Her heart raced again, a mixture of dread and obligation. What could Jack possibly want? Are you all right? Rick asked, noticing the change in her demeanor. Yeah, just something we need to talk about. When she looked into his eyes, determination sparked inside her. She had come too far to let past shadows ruin her chance for something real. Tomorrow would be daunting, but it might bring her the clarity she craved. What if we go together? She abruptly suggested, surprising herself even more. To see Jack, I mean. Rick's brow furrowed, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. Are you sure? I just don't want to make things more complicated. But Lily could feel it, the surge of courage. I think it's time for the truth, don't you? The decision hung in the air between them, heavy with possibility. What response awaited them from Jack? And how would confronting the truth reshape their paths? With her heart beating steady but anxious, she took a deep breath, bracing for whatever lay ahead. Tomorrow was about to test everything she had built. What would Jack reveal, and how would it alter her already fragile hope for a future with Rick? The morning sun streamed through Lily's window, offering false warmth against the knot of uncertainty in her stomach. She had barely slept, replaying Jack's message over and over in her mind. Part of her wanted to curl up under the covers and pretend today didn't exist. But, she knew she couldn't. Not now. After a quick shower, she dressed deliberately, choosing a light blue blouse that reminded her of calm skies, an ironic choice, given her emotional tempest. She looked at herself in the mirror, seeking reassurance in the reflection staring back. Today was about clarity, about facing truths that had lingered too long in the shadows. As she stepped into the cool morning air, Rick was already waiting by her car, his hands shoved deep into his pockets. He wore a concerned expression that melted into a smile the moment he saw her. Hey there, he greeted, that warmth flooding back. Ready? What if I'm not? She replied, a playful spark igniting in her voice. Rick chuckled, but the laughter didn't show in his eyes. You're stronger than you think, Lily. Just keep that in mind. The drive was quiet, each passing street a reminder of life moving forward, while she felt anchored in a moment of indecision. What if Jack had a new revelation that changed everything? What if he simply complicated matters further? Arriving at the meeting spot, a cozy cafe at the edge of the park, the weight of anticipation settled heavily on her shoulders. The scent of fresh coffee mingled with the crisp morning air. She spotted Jack already seated at a small table, his expression unreadable as he looked up at them. Thanks for coming, he began, his tone neutral. Can we do this quickly? Rick interjected, his tone protective. Lily shared a glance with him. He was here for her, but how much would it help? Jack shifted nervously in his seat. I know this isn't an easy conversation for any of us. I've had concerns about our work together, Lily. I care about this cause, and you've been incredible at the helm. But your connection to Rick could complicate things. Complicate? Or strengthen? Lily shot back, her voice steady. We're in this together, Jack. If you're worried about how I feel about Rick, we need to address that. The words hung in the air, tension thickening around them. Jack's jaw flexed slightly, and he leaned back in his chair, eyeing her with a mix of scrutiny and admiration. It's more than just your feelings. There are people counting on you. If you don't keep your priorities straight, Rick spoke again, frustration creeping in. What are you getting at, Jack? Just that emotions can interfere, Jack replied. There's a lot at stake here. This fundraiser, it's meant to change lives. I need to know you're both committed, no distractions. Lily's heart pounded. Did he doubt her commitment? I'm all in, she asserted, her voice firm. I'm here because I believe in this cause. And in Rick. Please don't mistake my feelings for weakness. I've come too far. Silence enveloped the table as Jack studied her. It felt like a challenge. Would he accept her resolve, or would he continue raising doubts? All right, Jack finally said. But understand this, if you both want to be part of this, you need to keep your personal feelings from crossing the line into this work. It's that simple. Lily nodded slowly, parsing through the implications of his words. She felt a surge of determination, deepening even as Jack's words echoed doubt. After a few minutes of small talk, Jack excused himself, leaving them return to their own tense silence. What do you think? Rick asked, leaning forward, studying her face. I think I want to let my heart be a liability, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, but laced with firm resolve. But what if I can't separate the two anymore? Rick reached for her hand across the table, his touch igniting a spark. Then we figure it out together. Whatever comes next. As they stood to leave, Lily felt the weight of the morning sun on her shoulders. She had made her decision, but would they survive the storm ahead together? Just as hope flickered anew, her phone vibrated. A new message from Jack. Things are about to get complicated. We need to talk again soon. Her pulse quickened. What else could he want? A chill crept in as uncertainty loomed again, heavier than before. Would she be able to hold on to everything she had fought for? With Rick by her side, she could only hope. But now more questions danced in the air, demanding answers. Who would be on the other side of the truth? With courage bubbling and uncertainty lingering, Lily took a breath, waiting for the next twist in this unending journey. The day of the fundraiser finally arrived, and energy buzzed like electric current through the shelter. Lily stood in the doorway, soaking in the sights and sounds, bright decorations dancing in the breeze, people mingling, laughter echoing, all working together for something bigger than themselves. But uncertainty gnawed at her core. She felt the weight of her decision to trust Rick, and the pressure of Jack's warning loomed over her like dark clouds. As guests poured in, the atmosphere brightened, but Lily's heart raced with every familiar face that entered. Rick was moving through the crowd, charming people with his newfound zeal, and for a moment, a glimmer of hope flickered within her. Could he really be changing? Jack arrived early, his demeanor serious. He approached Lily, concern etched on his face. How are you doing? He asked, his voice low. I'm nervous, she admitted, glancing around nervously. But I feel like this could change everything for the shelter and for us. Jack nodded, but his eyes shadowed doubt. Just remember what I said, keep things professional. We can't afford any distractions. The weight of his gaze felt heavy, and she felt a pang of frustration. Hadn't she shown commitment? Suddenly, the room erupted with applause. Lily turned to see Rick standing on a makeshift stage, a microphone in hand. Thank you all for being here. His voice rang out, filling the air with positivity. Today, we're not just raising funds, we're building a community. Lily smiled, watching him pour his heart into his speech. Each word felt like an affirmation, a testament to their partnership. But as the minutes ticked by, a quick glance at Jack revealed a hard gaze, his posture tense. She could sense a storm brewing underneath his calm surface. Once Rick wrapped up, Lily joined him on stage. Happiness bubbled as she shared stories of the families impacted by the shelter, her voice steady and strong. Together, we can change lives, she declared, her gaze searching the crowd, hoping for the same fire that burned within her. Applause thundered in response, and the energy soared, but soon after the speeches, she spotted Jack in deep conversation with a group of executives, his serious demeanor contrasting sharply with the joyous atmosphere around her. As the evening rolled on, her worries morphed into a knot when Jack invited her outside for a breath of fresh air. "Lily, we need to talk," he said, urgency lacing his tone. "What is it?" she asked, anxiety spiraling. "It's about Rick. I know you want to believe he's changing, but his background is complicated and he's under pressure to deliver." The sharp edge of his words cut deep, the flicker of trust in her heart wavering. "Don't let him sway you. You owe it to yourself and this community to focus on what matters. You can't afford to get too comfortable yet." A piece of her heart fell away. "You're saying he may let us down again?" Jack's silence spoke volumes. In that moment, doubt began to creep back into her mind. She felt the urge to protect herself smother the flickering hope. Suddenly, the doors swung open and cheers echoed through the air. Guests were holding large checks, donations pouring in. Rick appeared, vibrancy radiating off him, delighted by their achievement. "Look at this. The community's coming together," he exclaimed, and as he approached, Lily felt the genuine excitement in his eyes. "We're going to make a difference today." But the weight of Jack's warning stung. "Are you really ready for this, Rick?" she asked, her anxiety spilling out. Rick caught her gaze, a steely determination in his eyes. "I am. I swear, Lily, this isn't just a moment for me. I need this as much as you do." Her heart fluttered with uncertainty, yet his sincerity struck a chord, urging her to cling to hope. As the night unfolded, donations soared, laughter filled the air and the shelter brimmed with excitement. But a part of Lily remained wary, keeping her heart guarded against unseen tempests. She caught brief exchanges between Jack and Rick, tension crackled like static electricity whenever their eyes locked. Each moment felt charged. Just as the bids were closing, everything shifted. A sudden flourish of commotion erupted when an unexpected visitor walked into the shelter. Sarah, the news reporter, with a crew in tow. "I've come to do some live coverage," she announced, excitement in her voice. "Let us show the community the impact of this fundraiser." Lily's heart raced. The press? This could make or break everything. She felt swallowed by the uncertainty of Rick's fate. A ripple of panic washed over her. "Rick, this is big. Are you ready?" she questioned, searching for reassurance. A smile blossomed on his face, a mix of pride and courage. "We've got this. Together, we can handle anything." But the moment the cameras began to roll, a tension-filled silence enveloped the room. Jack's watchful eyes were fixed on her, uncertainty heavy as she stood beside Rick, ready to speak. As the interview unfolded, Lily instinctively felt the weight of expectation. She highlighted the shelter's mission, the people that depended on it, and the power of community. Then, without thinking, she handed the mic over to Rick. "Tell them what you believe in," she urged him. Rick took the moment to express his hope and resolve, his words resonating with emotion. "We all have stories. And sometimes, it's about finding our way back home," he said, his eyes searching hers. "For me, that means fighting for everyone who walks through those doors every day." The energy in the room surged. People nodded, tears filled some eyes. As Rick spoke, Lily felt their history behind them brittle, yet with hope tethered to trust. When the cameras stopped rolling, applause erupted. The warmth of acceptance surged through the room, but a shadow of doubt lingered at the back of her mind. Did she really believe in this moment? Later that evening, amid the celebrations, a pivotal moment unfolded. Jack stepped outside, finding Lily alone, gazing at the stars. "Hey," he said softly. "You did an incredible job tonight." Her heart swelled at his acknowledgement, but the clouds surrounding her thoughts moved hardly. "Thanks. But I can't shake the feeling. Is it too good to be true?" Jack's eyes flickered with sincerity. "That's the risk we take," he replied gently. "But Lily, you've got to embrace the good too, not just the fear. When I look at you, I see someone capable of change. Don't shy away from it." Those words resonated deep inside her, and a shard of hope ignited within. Maybe the future wasn't solely about avoiding hurt, but stepping boldly into possibility. As the night wore on, Her heart resonated with the buzz of optimism. A community stood before her, believing in her vision, echoing a sentiment they all shared. The fundraiser had been a success both for the shelter and for her heart. With renewed resolve, she turned toward the direction of the shelter, where laughter echoed into the night, and realized she owed it to herself to believe in what lay ahead. And as she glanced back, she caught Rick's eye filled with hope and determination. In that shared moment, her fear began to fade. The journey wasn't over just yet, and she couldn't let doubt steal her joy. With a radiant smile, she stepped forward, ready to storm through whatever lay ahead. A new chapter awaited them all, filled with hope, collective strength, and the possibility of redemption. Together, they would face the winds of change, unyielding, and finally, as Lily released a breath she didn't know she was holding, a resonating truth settled in. Sometimes, opening one's heart means discovering strength, not just vulnerability. What would that look like tomorrow? Only time would tell, but tonight was a promise fulfilled. Now, as you reflect on this heartwarming journey, it's time to join our community further. You need to subscribe now to our channel, so you won't miss out on the next powerful stories that could inspire your own journey. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm with love and support. Every click matters. Comment below with your thoughts on this incredible transformation. How did it touch your heart? And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformative story. Do not wait not even one more second. Your support is pivotal in growing this community of hope.